Sparks, Lee Sparke, aka Jonah Jones, aka Uncle Pete, KPB, everyone. So we finally got there. So basically, let me just recap for you, Lee. Basically, he played the cheeky chap in Grange. I think with a couple of series. You know, he comes from Loughton. Just recap on stuff. So basically, yeah. So we was going back to like I thought that part of it you was I thought you played a bigger part than Zama because there was a lot about you with the stink bomb. There was you like Style was saying to me that he watched the zoo part today.
Yeah, the zoo's naughty. Yeah, the zoo's a good one. That was the very first episode we've our year filmed. The zoo. It was on location at Chessington Zoo. And my memories from them days is strong. It was wicked, so funny. Like we had run around Chessington Zoo being mental, going on all the rides, and it was mad. And then we obviously fight another school, innit? Have a big tear up, a fall in the sea lion pond. And at first I thought that was going to be a bit of a joke, the sea lion pond.
Right.
Then they showed me the sea lion pond. And guess what was in it? It was full up with sea lions. And I'm thinking, for real? And then you start, everyone's geeing you up, giving it, oh yeah, you don't want to get bit by a sea lion. They're naughty. They take up your leg. So I just stand on the top of that thing, do the pretend bag throw, and next thing, boom, I'm in the water. As soon as I hit the water, I'm swimming. I'm swimming for Jesus, like, woo, woo. And then I got out the other side and run. But I don't know if they do that stuff now. Because you know the world is not. You can't just go and crack on like, oh, we're going to get your son and we're going to just drop him in with the sea lions, let him swim across and jump him out. I don't know if they do that.
I think health and safety has gone a bit berserk, mate. You know, look, mate. I'm not going to sidetrack. I was in Spain on a cruise one day and I see some geezer filling up a ship with a cigar in his hand with a petrol thing. Like I'm like on the top of the tank. Yeah, right. So. After Grange, Stu, invite yourself back in, bro. Because obviously I deleted you because I mean technology.
He's too busy showing us his beamer. I'll check my steering wheel. It's Johnny Big Bananas, isn't it? He's come straight on and Johnny Big Bananas it with his check my ride. Like ease up, Styler, mate. Ease up.
So after Grange, where did you go to? What did you do next?
I went and did it. So I got offered this part in this. It's called Behind the Bike Sheds, and luckily enough, there ain't much of it on YouTube. But
I saw a bit the other day.
Oh my gosh! But it was there's things, and I'm guessing loads of actors must go through this. Not calling myself an actor, but loads of people that do TV shows must go through this, where you do something and it's brilliant. Because I was like, I think I was 15 or 16. Alison Bettle's mum may have even been my chaperone for a bit. She used to do a lot of chaperoning. Faye from Grange, her mum. She's dead now, God rest her soul. Lovely woman. She chaperoned me for lots of stuff. Even up to a Penguin Biscuit advert in Scotland, and I flooded the bathroom. And she knew me. She knew me well, and she'd just go, "Oh, Lee," but she knew that my heart. You know, I'm a nice guy. I'm just an idiot. So I'm exactly like Jonah Jones was. So, but yeah, so I did this thing called Behind the Bike Sheds, and that was sort of right up off the spin of missing out on what I thought was going to be another 3 years of Grange Hill. Yeah. And then obviously they just changed the script, so they drowned my cousin instead. And then from then I sort of did bits and bobs, and then I did Bugsy Malone, Majesty's Theatre with Mickey DeLenz.
Right.
He produced it and was the director, which was like a wicked. Although, for somebody who can't really sing and can't really dance, I don't even know how I got cast in it. I did it with Banksy, as it goes.
Really?
Banksy was in it as well with me. Same group.
Wow.
Tim Polly, who's a funny guy, good guy. And then sort of I decided, well, I didn't decide, like, as in, you know, with your parents on your ass about what happens if you're not going to be an actor and, you know, that sort of stuff. I sort of ended up doing my O-levels, my A-levels at school. And then I've got a job in the city. Doing foreign exchange, which, when you say nice, I think I was part of that generation that was all, you know, you sort of Maggie Thatcher, you get your finance and whatever. But fuck me, it was, God damn, it was boring. It just was so not me. And I think I did it for about a year. And then I travelled out to Australia. And at the time I was dating Lisa York. So Julie Marchant, I think was her name. I never called her Julie. It wasn't a thing. We came over, I think it was end of 89, early 90s, came out to Australia. So, and sort of after that time, we had a great time. I went backwards and forwards a lot. And then as you get a bit older, London's a great place. It's brilliant when you're young and you're cracking on with clubs and live venues and DJing and whatever else. But as you get a little bit older, I don't know, if you've never been to Sydney or anywhere in Australia, the place is like next level wickedness.
I've never been there, but I know a few people out there. So, you know, close friends of the families out there in, I think, Manly Beach over that way.
Manly's on the North Shore. It's a bit like being a South Londoner, being in Manly.
So the gigs that done me, he lives over there, but he did come from in England. So, you know, big up Chris Jenke, Gary Shimmons, also out to Nigel Dix as well, because all them guys are over there. So, you know, I think a lot of people do go over there. It's, you know, a lot of people. Hold on, what's going on here? You gone, mate?
Styler's messing with us. First of all, he brings up his. Oh,
he's in the middle. Come on, Stu. Then you coming in? Is he coming in? How do we have him in then?
Come on,
listen, I think.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't see you, bro.
I've got the camera off. I was just trying to sort your boat races out. That was all.
Unless you're a plastic surgeon, fella.
Crack on.
Background.
Just hanging around. I'm lurking.
What are you in now? You in a Merc now?
I've got my bag of sweets. I'm lurking.
Actor Jason Humphrey, man. Big yourself up. Yeah, you know Chris Jenke, mate. I can't go out there because I don't fly. I cruise everywhere. I'm scared of flying.
We're all cruising, mate. Everyone's cruising. In the 70s, people cruising in the 70s.
I was just trying to get rid of my name at the bottom. I'm going to let you two crack on.
But you can join us, Stu, Styler.
I'm just stuffing my face with a cross on. That's why I ain't got the camera on.
Mate, Nick Alexis next.
I've got the leather in the beamer all crusty now.
Right. All right, Styler. Right, so look, we're gonna press on now from the days like you've gone over to there and blah blah. So, what made you get into music,
mate? I suppose I don't know if.
Hold on, one sec. So, what music was knocking around your house when you was growing up?
We had one of them in the old days, a stereo that was like a bit of furniture. Can't remember him. It might have been Grundig or something crazy.
I know what you're on about.
It was a big long thing, and you open the top, and it had the
record player was in there.
And the radio, and you put and it was like a bit of furniture. And my family, we ain't musical, as in we're not musical. None of us played instruments. My mum may have played the flesh flute. I don't know. I don't want to say that, but I've heard that she was on the flesh flute. But so none of us really played any instruments. But we had a household that was full of music all the time. And we used to do this, you know, even I remember going back to the day when you listened to the top 40 and you're recording it. I used to have this little baby record player and I had Chuck Berry. What was the song?
My Dingaling. Johnny B. Bad.
My Dingaling. That was the only, and I think I had that record and something else that was rubbish. And that was all. But I love playing, I love just getting it and just, we play with my Dingaling. Which I don't even know what that song was about back then. But I love singing it.
But I don't know how he didn't get banned from that.
Look, as soon as we say ding-a-ling, Styler's back on.
Yeah, you see that?
He's just nicked a scooter now.
Well, you know what? He's on this explicit thing, so he's got a beeper there. So when you go to like say ding-a-ling, it's or it come out with a different word.
No, can't hear him, can we? That's the best time ever when you can't hear him. Listen, don't go back to Carnaby Street, fella. You might.
I haven't come on here to be mocked, all right?
His audio's in.
I just been watching the zoo scene. That's all. I just want to go swim with some sea lions.
We were just talking about that earlier. That's the craziness.
Wicked, mate. I was watching it over breakfast.
It was literally, we turned up in the morning. They said, we're going to shoot this scene. They didn't do anything other than go to where they had the sea lions. And it was just like, crack on. They won't kill you. It's all
lucky
good.
they didn't shoot you, mate.
There was none of that business. There was no there's no people on the side. Just
I'm off to nick a Lexus. Oh, it's chucking it down here. I don't know what it's like in Oz. Look.
Check me head. Look at me head. What do you reckon it's like in Oz? Like 30 degrees every day, mate. Shoveling gear. Look at me.
I was going to play some music in the background, but I'm not going to bother.
Hold on.
He's gone. He's gone.
No, I'm here. He's chopped off, isn't he?
Styler's going to put 20p in the meter.
so
Right.
listen.
I can hear you.
So what? So sorry, we lot are mad. So
It's a shambles.
yeah, he probably. So what music was you into when you was growing up then?
I'll tell you what is quite weird. My mum, one record that really stuck out to me, and she only just died this week.
Who did?
Helen Reddy. My mum used to play I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar. She loved that one.
What song's that?
I Am Woman by Helen Reddy. So she's an Australian icon, but she was a revolutionist back in the day. Well, you know, feminist, really.
Yeah.
Annoying bitch, I think they used to call them back then, but now they're called feminists. But now she's really back then she was probably annoying people, but she's dead anyway, so it don't matter. But my mum used to listen to her, but like, you know, the usual Elvis, Beatles, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But so there's no way of escaping what your family bleed into you, right? And you
That's exactly why.
Right? Which you're lucky. But I do remember a turning point of listening to what other people showed me. And my dad's best mate, a geezer called Jimmy Lodge, he's dead now, unfortunately. People die, don't they? As you get older. I went to a party around his house. And funny enough, the house is actually where Ozzy Ardiles lived when he played for Tottenham. It's in Woodford Bridge. They bought it after he died. Blood on the walls. I don't know what that was all about, but anyway, that's a true story. I don't even know why I said that, but it's true.
Yeah, but that's a fact, though, isn't it?
Say that again.
That's a fact, though, what you're saying. So
yeah, it is a fact. It is a fact.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't even know where the Blood on the Walls was. It was weird, but I went to a party around there, and Jimmy had this, like, it might have been a Blackburn or something, like a really decent stereo. And I used to bang on about listening to, I can't even remember, it would have been the Jam probably back then. I listened to Jam and this, and he went, come in here. And he just sat me down, and I think it was Led Zeppelin. It might have been Stairway to Heaven. It was something of that ilk, right? And he went, you know nothing about music. And I think he played me Zeppelin, he played me Pink Floyd. And at the time, I was probably at that 16, smoking spliffs, thinking I'm way cool sort of age, right?
Yeah.
And I just remember listening to Floyd, listening to Zeppelin, and I just went, how have I been missing out on this sort of thing? Because it wasn't anything my family had played, and it probably wasn't on the radio either, because it was probably just that little bit different, right? That sort of like transient rock sort of.
Well, the only thing from Pink Floyd was the wall, brick in the wall, but to be honest, that was pretty screwed up as well. Like that freaks me out today, because when you see the Hammers walking past the bridge, there's a viaduct. Well, there's a viaduct in my mum's in the park, and I'm like, as this kid, I'm like, I ain't going down there.
Yeah.
The Hammers are gonna get me.
The film's madness, right?
Yeah,
Here, those like, and I do the breakfast show obviously on Upfront Radio, and I haven't played a lot of music for a long time because I'm always DJing. I play house music, and it's all about I want to get the perfect mix, and I want to mix this. And it's been really over the last. I think I've been doing it for a month, but over the last month, it's been mad to just go. I'm going to play this one. I'm going to play this one, and not be worried about anything other than. This is a tune I love. Listen to this, listen to this, listen to this, and just banging loads of tunes that I would listen to myself.
But this is what me and Styler was saying the other day, because I was chatting to him and I was like, KEITHY, man, he's like, he don't mess, you know, I do my breakfast shows. I've been renowned for doing them on Upfront for a while. Well, when I can get on. And you do something different. You bring something different to the table because you don't, I just do a lot of soul stuff and, you know, a bit of 70s, bit of disco. You bring this whole thing back to the, you play everything. Mumford and Sons, you do the whole thing.
I suppose the first week I did an old playlist that's on it's on Spotify, and I did it for people, and I went through, you know, when I was like 12, 13, like your Luther, your Jocelyn Brown, your all that kind of stuff, your soul, all the stuff that you sort of grow up with and I loved. And you can listen like Stevie Wonder, tunes that you can play again and again. I could play Stevie Wonder in the club and people would go, doesn't matter if they're 17 or 70, they're going to go, oh, Stevie, for once in my life, whatever it is, right? And you know the vibe is so good on it. It's so well produced. Nobody can ever go, oh, this is rubbish. Or if they do, they're just having a laugh.
And there's the word. What you just said there was exactly the word, produced. Because there's a lot of regurgitated, yet again, you know, me and Styler talk a lot, you know, we've known each other for years, and we not analyse, but we talk about a lot of stuff, which is there's a lot of turned out garbage. And there's a lot of it about. So, you know, you got to stretch it back to the day, because I was having a word about 5 years ago with my mate, Lee John from Imagination. These cats today would not sit in a booth and take 400 takes on a reel-to-reel. They would cane their voices. They couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So where years ago, there's the power of the voice, but nowadays, because, you know, technology moves on, things move on, so, you know, this is what happens. But as you say, people like Stevie Wonder, you can throw down anywhere, mate. People go, yeah, I know that song.
Yeah, because it reminds me, so the first gigs I used to do, and I don't know if it was a question you were going to ask me. So about 15, a mate of mine, his name was Andy Lloyd, he used to run a wedding disco. But Lloyd, he could not pick a tune to save his life. Geezer was gash, absolutely rubbish. But he had all the gear, and no idea. So he must have done a couple of weddings, and people would put, maybe he just got hustled out. Maybe it just weren't his thing. So me and another geezer called Hayden Bird. So Birdie Num Num, big fan of the show. We used to go with Andy. So Andy would pay us, and we'd just put the tunes on. And there was tunes that we would play. I can't even, like, you know, it's probably, I was born in 69. It was probably 87, something like that. And, you know, Katrina and the Waves. You play that at a wedding, they're all pissed. They're up, they're dancing. It don't matter what you do. I play a few on the breakfast show where you go, Mezze Forte, you go, garden party, you go, oh, this used to, immediately you put that on, people would go, oh, hello, Granny'd be up. You know, all them tunes. Frank Sinatra, finishing the night. Hey, all day long. Finishing the night with Sinatra. And they used to all get in a row. I got married 10 years ago to my beautiful wife, Hannah Sparke. And I think it's about 10 years. And I got married in Thailand. But I said to her, last song, we got to do Oops Upside Your Head. And she's from Northampton. She had no idea what I was talking about. Boom, you bang all upside your head, all the Londoners are on the floor doing the rowboat, which was massive. So we've got, like, half the crowd is all my lot, half the crowd is her lot. My brother's dragging her old lady down, getting on the floor doing oops, oh, upside your head. I said oops, and I haven't played down the radio show, so watch out, it's coming this week. So,
right, just bear with me 1 second, I've just got to do something. So I'm going to literally knit and I'll be back. So how did you get into house? With my door key. How do you get in your house? How do you get in your house? Listen, this is the part.
this is the part of the show where Martin either goes for a wee or he's having a Michelangelo. Yes, the
So
angel.
you know, so all the acid house stuff, 88, 89 gear. So there's a lot of old house there and stuff.
So the wedding DJ was one thing, and then obviously house music came in, and I used to when I left Grange, because I was still dating Lisa York, the Grange crew were like an invite to any club in London, like literally any club in London. And for a while we used to go Stringfellows, Hippodrome, Limelight, all those clubs.
Limelight.
Limelight is the first club I heard Move Your Body. Boo! Like, and just went, what is this? This is a tune. And just remember playing it solid after that. I did what all people who was into just playing. A mate of mine, so I'd like big respect to Eddie Pillar. Somebody who lived around my man, Eddie Pillar, started acid jazz. So I sort of got into house music and that acid jazz groove, that, you know, a bass line and great vocals, and, you know, again, brilliantly produced tracks that were just so revolutionary, and so, which is why I played Donna Summer the other day. And you just look back to the 70s where I Feel Love, and you just go boom, straight away. You go, whoever produced that was,
I'm going to tell you,
was in a time zone.
Do you know who produced that?
Go on, tell me.
Georgie Moroder, the person that done Together in Electric Dreams with Phil Oakey.
Yeah.
He's the one that produced that. Because when I didn't know that until, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years back. And I'm like, do you know what? If you listen to that tune, mate, it's something else.
I've mixed it for the last whatever. Whenever you're in a deep set or whatever, you know you can play that. It just creeps in and it just creeps out again, and then whatever's next is next. And people, it's just got such a vibe to it.
It's just that electronic beat on.
Everything mashes in that. The voice is so silky and so haunting, and you know, it's a tune that you listen to a lot, and you never go.
You can't get bored of that song. It's one of those ones.
You listen to Backstreet Boys or whatever, and you hear, you know, they keep banging them out, and after X amount of times, you just want to kill yourself, don't you?
Well, this is exact. Well, I was like on that note, I was saying to Starley the other day. You know, there's certain records I've got I won't play because you hear the same people, same DJs playing the same stuff. So I'm like, no, I'm not playing that. You know, I won't. I refuse to play them. This ain't History. This is Upfront.
Yeah, so, and it's like that. Because I've been looking a lot at the 10 best pop songs, 10 best this, you know, Bohemian Rhapsody comes up at #1 in most of the you know, if it's an all-time best ever, Bohemian Rhapsody always seems to be #1. But you know, there's groups that I'd never even pick in there. But unfortunately, it all seems to be set in a period where it was Queen.
Yeah.
It was, I can't think of who. Like 3 of them were like heavy rock bands that people would go, like now people would go, yeah, I don't listen to rock, you know. And then I suppose the other things you look at is people go, most listened to record ever, and it'll be your Katy Perry or you know that electronic shit where you go, was, you know, yeah, it's a different. You can't compare the Beatles to Justin Bieber. Because Justin Bieber, once they picked him up off the street and slung him through this new medium, the Beatles were going out to Hamburg and doing, you know, small little gigs for years and years and years before. Well,
the thing is with them guys, so you see where people like Bieber, they got like 9 producers and 7 sound engineers, and you know, and whatever. Where the Beatles were like, if you listen to their stuff, I know we're sidetracking from you, but they would make if you actually listen to their songs, they actually make 2 records into one. So they go on one, then they go off on a tangent, and go back into it. But they're the only guys I think I know that have been to #1, other than Oasis, that have been there with an A and B side. number one, number two, and number three.
I think you might find the Jam have done it as well.
They might have done, yeah. I'm just, you know, I don't mind the Jam.
And I think the tune is Precious Love, which is on the back of Can Called Malice. You heard it here first.
I've got that here, so I'm gonna have a look for that.
But I think that made it number one as well. I mean, this Precious Love, doon, doon, doon. Again, the Jam. If you when you watch a group, and I said this the other day when I started playing U2, and you know, and you said that you did the Wembley gig and stuff.
Well, no, I worked at Wembley. Started working at Wembley. So I've done all the stages. So I've met everyone on this planet near enough. You know, I had a big ruction with Barbara Streisand. Nearly hooked her off the stage by her big nose. But you know, I think it's kind of still in the background.
No, he's gone. He's nicking Lexus now. He's out on his moped looking for a Lexus.
He's shaving his legs. But go on, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Yeah, I've done the Zoo Roper tour.
You go back to your Simple Minds, U2. Like later on, a little bit Coldplay. A lot of people like. Again, some people have that. I don't like them. I don't like it. I remember when Oasis came out, I was so into house, so into that vibe. My mate went, "Oh, you got to listen. You've got to listen to this," and I went, "Yeah, it just sounds. It's Northern. I don't like. It just sounds like the Beatles, but it's with Northerners singing." Like, I know that sounds terrible, but it was like, it had nothing for me. But then, because I am a music enthusiast, and sometimes you pull your head out your behind, like, you know, it's hard not to see a group that is a bit of you know, it's like some of their songs, you go, it's an anthem. You could almost play it anywhere, and you know that all the English there are going to go Wonderwall. You know they're going to start losing their business. It's as easy as that. I've been to a few, and another thing about when you mix that kind of, and lots of DJs do it now, right, with the disco or whatever, where in the middle of a nice house set, you'll just slip in something from a time gone by, and it's not house, but it still runs at 128 BPM, and you know it just slides in, and people go, "Oh, I haven't heard this for forever," right? That sort of thing that's when music starts getting clever, and then people start going, yeah. But I suppose it's all you've said it before about that. How many times can you remix a tune? And it's very rarely done better than the original. But I now don't play tunes like Gypsy Woman, like because they're so slow. And for me, like, you know, everything moves on, right? And if I don't play a set that would start down at 118 or 120, whatever it might be, and you can't really, when you speed it all up, it's not the same. So I play loads of remixes. I love a remix because I love bringing the old back to new, but it's got to be something that's quality. You can't just be some geezer that's just gone, I've got a hook, let's put a, you know, and throw it in there. Oh, it's la-di-dee, la-di-da. Yeah, everyone will buy that. It's brilliant. And I get $2.19 on thingy every time somebody buys it.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, don't get me wrong. You know, I'm not going to go there. Anyways, I wasn't going to say what I'm going to say.
You produce tunes. You know what it's like, and
of course.
You know when you left the studio, you went, I think this is real. This is something that I've created. It's solid, and it's not just me trying to make a buck.
No, and you know what? Some people are in it for the love. Other people are in it for the fame and the money.
Listen, you're on the
There's
upfront.
a difference between
Here. The people who really love it really make the money, but they carry on just the same.
Yeah.
They're the geezer where you say, listen, Sparksy, I'm having a house party next weekend. Do you fancy DJing? And what's the first thing out of my mouth? Is it, well, yeah, if you want me out $200-300 or whatever, you go, yeah, of course I will, mate. No dramas. What do you need? I say nothing. I'll bring it all. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
I mean, like, I've done a festival up here. Like, the guys, I didn't want paying for it. I've done it for nothing. It was capped at 5,000 people. I was on, like, the main stage. So for me, it's like, you know what? If it means I can just do that, that's fine for me. I don't care. I ain't bothered. My name's on the flyer, so I'm not really bothered about that. So for me, it's just like, no. So what actually got you into mixing it?
I just bought. So I went to Limelight. Started listening to that Chicago house coming through, Move Your Body, that kind of stuff. And my firm was all into that. Anyway, we were clubbing. We used to go and see. I remember seeing Fabio and the Groove Rider at Heaven, Paul Trouble Anderson at the WAG. Like
God
those
rest his
DJs
soul. You must have been at the WAG at the same time as me then.
Mate, I loved it. I went to the WAG.
Wardour Street.
It was at the bottom of Chinatown. It was at Lenny
Exactly.
McLean on the door, mate. Lenny McLean
Yeah.
was on the door.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that for a while, but you know what? I've got to just recap about it. So, you know, R.I.P. Paul Trouble Anderson.
Yep, another one gone.
You know that he was in the video for AEIOU? Freeze.
Yeah, back in the
He
day.
was in the video to it.
I didn't know that.
So anyway, so when did you get a pair of 1210s or 1200s?
I bought some 1210s Mark IIs. But I had mates that used to DJ, so we always had gear. When I came back from Australia, so 89, I think I came back in 91 via the US, whatever.
Yeah.
And that was it. I was just ready. I moved. My nana died, unfortunately. My granddad was already dead. And she had a big house in South Woodford. And my mum I moved into my house. At the time, I was medicinally smoking marijuana. And I remember my old dear knocking on, because I had the bedroom was at the back, and I remember her knocking on the door, giving it, Lee, it smells like bloody Africa up there. I'm not having it. She started losing this shit. She's never even been to Africa. How does she know what it smells like? Anyway, so basically she knew I was on the Cully weed. So so rather than totally lose me, my nan was dead, the house was there, I rented the house. So
right.
This house was one of those old big houses. The front room was about, I don't know, 15 meters long, went into a back garden. Mate, the house parties we had there were just, and that was it. We started having house parties. We had the decks. I was mixing all the time. We had loads of mates who everybody knew a DJ. So we just put on nights. The garage turned into a bar. Backyard was like the outside chill bit. But they used to get crazy. So the next door used to rent as well. And one of the parties, I've DJ'd a set. It's probably about 1 in the morning. I've come out. Somebody else has taken over. I've gone, I'll just have a little chill outside. There's a fire in the backyard. It's burning. Got a bit. There's only a little bit of firewood. They've done the next door neighbour's fence. It's up. It's gone. The fence is gone. It's gone. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We'll sort it out tomorrow. But it was them mental days where people just used to be mental.
I think
always great vibes, but there's always something that was mental going on. I caught them. We used to put the furniture. The furniture was at the end of the garden, and I caught them pulling up the tarpaulin. They would have thrown anything on there. This fire, I'm telling you.
I think that when I used to, there's the same thing, but you always get that crazy one because Styler knows him pretty well. So we used to hang about the same thing. This guy called Sklar. He wouldn't hesitate to chuck stuff over next door neighbour's garden when he's having a house party, steal the records or whatever. We
had a mate so after the house parties, we had a mate who worked for a real estate agent in Wanstead, and his name's Wiggy. Haven't seen him for a million years, but so he used to get the keys to places that had just gone off the market. So we used to put on house parties in these places, right? When the old bill come, you go, this is a private party, we've got the keys, right, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And a few of the cases we used to knock about. So we had a house party, this particular house party. We've had a house party, we're taking money in the door, we've got a bar running, made loads of money. A geezer we used to knock about with called Flacky, who was as mad as mad can be. He decided towards the end of the night that he'd rob us. So we're talking about the geezer, we know him. So he holds us up and he just robs us. So he's absolutely out of his bollocks. He's as mad as hell. He's got gas in his pocket, and he just takes all the money, and he just goes. And then you have to, it's that embarrassing London thing when you phone up in the morning and go, mate, Flacky, you've robbed us. Can we get a tow pack? And he goes, yeah, sorry about that.
So
there's mental people everywhere.
Honestly, there is. And unfortunately, there's people that we all know, and No, if everyone's listening, we all know people like this. We always know someone in the band or the group or whatever that's as crazy as a March hare, man. It's just like as mad as a bunch of jumping frogs. So
you gotta love that. You gotta love that business though, because the story is wicked.
Like, you know, if you didn't have them characters in life would be very dull and boring.
Yeah.
It really would. So you moved to Australia. So was you playing in clubs out there? You played in clubs out there? I take you have, yeah?
I played in clubs out here, but like I used to play for a football team called Zoom.
Right.
So I used to have connections, Lord Roberts and places like that. But mainly I used to put on my own gigs because I found that it was always, I found it was more controlling. So me and another guy that I met, that was a really decent DJ, we'd put on a night, place in Sydney here, particularly called Oxford Street, an Italian restaurant that would close for us. It would fit about 100 to 150 people comfortably. And we'd put on our own nights because we had control of it. We sold tickets. It was a much nicer vibe. And it was also that thing where we was trying to, people were doing stuff everywhere. Clubs, you've got to go with the bouncers and all that nuts.
Mm-mm.
We wanted somewhere where it was, we knew the people that were coming. We knew the vibe would be safe and friendly. And we knew we wouldn't, you know, there's no nut, I don't know, you know, the usual stuff at parties, right? There's not people all over you checking out your business, right? So you could get, you know, you could get involved and just feel free and easy. And we used to do gigs a lot. I think we started monthly, bi-monthly might have started them, and then we'd also do a few other different things, like occasionally we do a boat party or we do whatever. I worked on the Futures floor as well, so I used to do private parties for people that knew me, and they'd say, "Can you come and do my party?" And I go, "Yeah, no problem."
Yeah.
And we just used to travel and do them gigs as well, and that was enough for me. I never wanted to be anything other than a geezer just properly loving playing sets. It wasn't my real job, but I did it, you know, a bit like Upfront. People go to me, "Oh yeah, you know, why'd you do that? How'd you get into that?" It's like, mate, they wanted me to play music and I love it. So I'm doing as much as I can.
It was that was really weird because I thought, you know what, when I saw like something come up on my Facebook, there's at least Sparke, and I was like, I know that name, man.
Could you beat Radio? That was Could You Beat Radio?
I was like, that's Jonah, man. I was like, you know what, he might not accept me, but I'm gonna add him as a friend. So that's why I was like, yeah. And I've seen quite a few of your streams, and I was like, we need this guy in Upfront. And I'll always approach people, and always, like I say this to style, you either get a yes or a no. 9 times out of 10, you get a yes. The 1% they're like, I'm busy, I can't do it, or they're doing other things, which I respect that. So you know what I mean? If you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. And I was like, you know what? And then we left it for a few months, didn't we?
Yeah, I had that thing where you have to sort of, as I've been saying to a couple of my mates, I've said, come and DJ on there. If you're not on the stream, you sort of miss it. And they go, yeah, just pick a slot and we'll give you the details. But you sort of think, when you get on the chat, you sort of think you're encroaching on people's ground. It's weird. Yeah. And you need to almost be forceful and go, right, am I playing tunes or not? Sort of thing.
Yeah.
And at the time, a few of my mates were starting a thing called Soundgarden Radio, which is just out in Kent. And they wanted to do, they've got, so their whole setup is different. Their setup is, there's a studio, and during the day, all the live stuff goes from that one studio. So you've got to be local. And then they play mixes during the night. Yeah. Which that doesn't work for me, which clearly, because it's a hell of a flight. So this, like the Upfront Radio thing, and the fact that everybody's so like-minded. When I got in that WhatsApp group, everyone is like, they love music. They want to play music. And there's people from Chile, Canada, England, Northampton.
The thing is, it was like, you know, it used to be a pirate radio station back in the day. You know, obviously Styler had it on the FM, that went off there, that went online. Then we got banned for 8 months on the Facebook thing. So then he's like, this gets started back up again. So you know what? If it actually weren't for Styler, I don't know what I'd be doing. Even though I got it, because he said, I know a way you can connect up in Norwich.
Yeah.
done all this thing for me, and I was like, mate, I'm live, man. So you know, coming up to Norwich, there's no radio stations up here, there's no pirates, so there's no nothing. And that's just when the Facebook and everything was just turning. Because I arrived up here in 2005.
Yeah.
So you know, fair play for to Styler for like, you need to get on this. You know, in all fairness, he's like sort of like a mentor, because he's like, he pushes me all the time. He's like, he's always got his foot up my ass. He's like, you need to do this. You need to do this. You need to get on. You need to do this. You need to do this. My wife carries on at me all the time. She's like, you need to get it. You're too laid back for things. And I'm like, I'm a type of person, if something don't work, I'm going to chuck out the window. That's it. It's gone.
I'm also a thinker. I've always got massive ideas. I just need somebody else to do them for me. Do you know what I mean? It's that thing.
Well, yeah.
You go, it's easy. You can do an internet radio station, but it ain't that easy. That's the reality.
No. You know, I've got to big up everyone like on the station, because everyone does their little part on it. You know, I always say to Styler, I want to come up with a new concept. I want to do this. I want to do this. So this is why I come up with the interviews, because I've just got off the phone just literally 15 minutes before to literally get the next guest on. And he's a big, he's a big part. He's a big part of this. No. Breaking news.
It's an exclusive. Who is next up? Who's next?
Oh, I can't say at the moment. But he's been on the scene.
If it's Ziggy, if it's that slag Ziggy, we're kicking off, mate. I'm not having it with the Ziggy thing. You got to forget Ziggy. Forget Ziggy.
He actually, I literally had him up. But he done what's it called? A jingle. You heard it?
It made me so mad that you got
Why?
Ziggy on the jingle and no Jonah, just Ziggy. Forget about it. Yeah, forget about it. I don't play that jingle because you ziggied it off. Forget about it. After season 6, Grange was dead to me. Forget about it.
Right, anyway.
Just people started taking, I'll leave. People start taking drugs. Place went mental. Forget about it. Forget about it.
No one was singing.
I tell you, this is a God's honest truth story. The amount of people, how I'm not doing 20 years for murder, the amount of people that said to me during a period, just say no. And it's like, I left. I wasn't even in the video, you dick.
Well, I heard, well, I'm going to say his name probably wrong, Erkan Mustafa.
That is
Roland. He used to be, I do believe, MC for Billy Bunter back at the Laserdrome back in the day.
He used to be a what?
MC.
I know his brother. I think his brother used to do. He's a Stratford boy, right?
Yeah.
You know his story. You know he got famous because they went round his school and said we're looking for some fat kids. Boom, he got the job. That was it. I know that sounds. I've made it sound. I've really thinned the long story out, but that's what happened. They went round Stratford looking for fat kids. He got the gig, right? Like, let's be fair. It wouldn't have happened to a skinny kid, would it? You weren't even going to get the part if you're a skinny kid, right? Why are you laughing? This is a true story.
I'm going to tell you something.
They went back to schools in East London looking for some chubsters. They got Erkan was the best of the lot. Best of the lot. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying that. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying that.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, right?
And now joining us is Erkan Mustafa.
But listen, I'm going to tell you a true fact now, right? His old man was Mike Savage, right?
Mike
Savage. We knew his son, Paul Savage. They used to live on my estate. His old man, who played Roland's dad.
I thought you meant his real dad. I'm saying what? His real dad's name was what? No, this is a scoop right here. You knew his real dad, his biological father. It's craziness. He never mentioned anything to me.
No. He was on.
What was going on around that estate? Craziness. That's what's going on.
He's on screen, Dad. There's a guy called Mike Savage that literally I know he's had a son and a daughter that lived on the other estate.
This is a true fact, right? Because I don't tell any lies. But I was watching one of our in the first season. Me and Zamo go to Rodney Bennett.
Yeah,
and that's the first time we meet my cousin, and we go into a school, and somebody put up the teacher that's in that class, put him up and said, "This is the actor, whatever." And I'm looking at him, and obviously I'm looking at him thinking I recognise that geezer, because I'd watched Outlander, which is a series on Netflix. Like I was just watching it that day, and I'm thinking, and the penny dropped. What I find a lot of times, a lot of the older teachers and actors around Grange were all quite. They weren't all just blow-ins like we were. These are people that had been in the business for years and had got a gig doing it, whatever, and went on to do, the geezer in Outlander, who was the teacher in that. He's done bit parts and big parts in like loads and loads of stuff. Probably never done a Hollywood blockbuster, but he's got a massive career. He was in Vicar of Dibley. He was in, which probably ran for 7 years.
But I didn't
the dream jobs.
I didn't realise Meat Cleaver was 2 different characters in it.
Don't even know who he was.
Meat Cleaver, Trevor Cleaver,
mate. He used to do me head in. He was ginger and had zits. He used to do my head in. I used to smash up my telly with the cleaver. No interest in that. He's up with him. Trevor Cleaver. He's Trevor Cleaver. Forget about
Meat Cleaver.
Meat Cleaver. No.
Well, he played a character in Rodney Bennett, didn't he?
I didn't like him either. I didn't like him when he was at Rodney Bennett. I didn't like him when he came over at Grange. And then what about move? I'll tell you what we do. We've got a series about loads of London kids. And this is where your Ziggy thing gets me, right? Let's move it to Liverpool. Like, leave me out. Why would you do that? Craziness. Phil Redman. That's when Phil Redman needed to ease up on the heroin. He'd gone way too far. Geezer. Boo, boo. Madness. The madness.
Right.
Moved their London school to Liverpool.
So right, let me give me breath back then.
Martin, get this interview back on track, man. It's gone madness.
Right. So because I'm going to wrap this up. So I take it you enjoy what you do on here, and it's a privilege to have you on here, mate. To be honest, because
it's my privilege. The upfront, like all the DJs, the support you get in the back end, and that's not when I say the back end. That's not a sexual reference. I'm just saying that the support you get in the back end, the love you get from the DJs, that is what it's all about. And everybody loving the house music, everyone loving them, not just the house music, everyone loves their music. Everyone that plays on the station, you get a few blow-ins that come and you've got to get rid of them because they either love themselves or they ain't quite get out to do it, right?
Well, the thing is, we were saying about your shows, like me and Styler, we battle each other practically every day, and we were like, you know what, your night shows are they're really good, but they're probably like they're really good shows. You put a lot of thought into them and stuff, and even like the Breakfast Show. And I was like, do you know what? I think KEITHY would take me apart because they're going to try and get us to do a back to back.
I think that the whole back to back, I think it's not about me taking you apart. I think it's great to feed off somebody else's energy, and I you must know if you listen to the morning show, I'll put a tune and I go, Martin will love this one. Like I pulled Jocelyn Brown last week, and I immediately went, Martin will love this one. And then
that's my missus' favourite tune.
Anthem.
Yeah. It's that tune is my missus. She loves that tune. But obviously, she won't know.
Styler comes on. I play Zoom, Fatback Band. Zoom, and Styler goes, my mum loves this song.
Yeah. I'll big up Hillary anyway, Styler's mum.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about, right? Even for me, I get such a buzz off the morning show. I get such a buzz off it.
Yeah, I love it, man, because I'm in work, so there's no one near me. So I'm like, you know what? I'm Bluetooth the speaker up. I've got it up really loud. So you know, and I think the diverse of it of bringing like U2, you're not just playing like one genre, because I tend to play like sort of one genre, the pure groove and the old soul stuff, and you know, I stick to that side of element on a Saturday morning. So
yeah, I've heard you say it's totally awesome. And then you also have done that like a discography. You've gone back through time and played, and you know, tunes that people haven't heard for a while. I've tried to steer clear to a degree of house, EDM. I've tried to just be, and look, to be honest with you, I've been working on the building site for the last month because the virus has messed up my industry, which is audio visual in events. And I've been listening to on site Triple M, which is an Australian. It's literally just rock, but because you can't just play rock all the time, it's, you know, you get them vibes of your AC/DC, back to Led Zeppelin, those kinds of things. But like, you know, stuff that I probably haven't been exposed to for a while. Police, you know, and then it just every time Pete Murray, like it's never ending when you go Nirvana, you know, all groups that unless you hid under a rock, there's no way you could have not listened to them. And it's before we went to clubs and just listened to house music. Well, before I went to clubs and I love house to death, but I think there's a place for it somewhere, and now I've managed to slip it into my life. But, you know, but if I was to do a party, you know, I'm not going to all of a sudden bang a bit of rock in the middle. It's just not me. I'm not going to do, you know, do you know what I mean?
I think there's a time and a place for it, because, like, you know, I've got a lot, and I mean a lot of old school jungle and drum and bass, but I couldn't. Well, years ago, I'd listen to it constantly. Like, you know, for me growing up in the 80s, I'd listen to NWI, I'd listen to that whole hip hop stuff, and that's constantly all I'd listen to. But now it's just like there's a time and a place for that stuff, man. I don't want to be on the morning show playing General Levy or Sang or Rubber. That's going to literally blow the dust off of some old woman's ears that she's locked in. Do you know what I mean? Because she's going to go, "What's this?" and turn it straight off. Do you know what I mean? There's a time and a place.
Again, you sort of, sometimes I listen to MD International and whatever. Sometimes I feel like I'm encroaching on somebody else's ground. If I start playing stuff that they play, it's like, well, it's point. I don't want to do the same show as you. I don't want to play tunes you play. I want to do something that makes the station diverse. You know, well, you know, I'm not just going to play punk all morning. That, you know, it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's you know, as I say, props to Styler, man, for getting this back up and like running, and like Nat J and Blythe and the rest of the gang. You know what I mean? You know, good them guys up. So
yes,
I don't know, man.
Crew. And we got the 31st of October.
Guys, don't forget. Night. The old Scream Stream, man. That's gonna be, you know, that's gonna be Sonic, man. Sonic's you know, he knew Styler as well a way ago. I think they played on the same Pirates and stuff, man. So, you know, there's a lot of things that's going on. And then hopefully, like next year, when we're sort of doing that thing with the Matrix rave, you know, big up Time Rider Production. So we're involved in quite a bit of things at the moment. So, you know, hopefully this virus just does one very soon, because it's now getting on my nerves, as well as everybody else's. You know what I mean? You know, everyone's losing businesses and everything. You know, as long as everyone's doing the right thing and doing what they've got to do, it all will chiv off somewhere. Right? Right.
Crazy times. It's crazy times. We're sort of lucky here. Victoria got absolutely melted. New South Wales is, I think we're on about 4 or 5 days where we've had no community spread. So we're sort of, and we've always been on the lucky side of it. And I feel sorry for all my relos and all the people in the UK. You know, now all of a sudden Trump supposedly got it. Like, how can you run a "don't worry about it" and get it yourself sort of campaign? Not that that's not a political statement from me. That's just like what's going on over there. Brazil, India, like the world has been absolutely hammered. And I just thank my lucky stars that, you know, one, I ain't got it. I ain't had it. I ain't spread it to no one else. And we're lucky that we're sort of on the best side of the world at the moment, because No, it's the news over here is horrific. Looking at the UK, and
UK is really bad at the moment. It's spiraled out of control.
We're so worried for you guys, and I've got, you know, me and my wife are the only two here. All of our relatives are over there, and everyone's just in the same boat. It's, you know, life just ain't normal.
We'll see the good. I'm not going to say the good thing because that sounds really selfish for me to say. The east of England was the lowest rate with Cornwall, and now it started creeping up here, and there's loads of cases. So, you know, it's bad wherever it is around the world. You know, I know people that have lost people to this virus. Like, I know someone who lost their sister. I know someone who lost their granddad. You know, it's a horrible thing. You know, and I get people have got their own beliefs what it's about. And you know, I'm not going to start getting into a debate on who's right, who's wrong. Was it this? Was it that? You know, everyone's got their beliefs, and if that's what you want to believe, that's up to you guys. You know what I mean? I'm not saying hey, who's right, who's wrong. That's unfortunately.
I totally agree with you, mate. I think we just got to do what you can to see it off for all of us.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're doing the right thing and staying safe, you know, people don't want it. That's up to theirs. If they catch it, you know, that's you were given the warnings. You was given the brief on it. If you don't want to do it, you know, that's up to you guys. But if everyone's doing their steps to do what they got to do, you know, and my wife's training, but she's going to become a counsellor. Obviously not a counsellor as a counsellor, but to do with stress and everything. And she reckons there'd be more people with anxiety, you know, stress and everything.
1,000,000%, brother, mate. We're just in Australia. We're just at the point when they're cutting. So you had furloughing people.
Yeah.
Over here we had JobKeeper. So
Yeah.
JobKeeper was $750 a week. It's just changed to $550, and it's going to scale down through till March. I think this is when all of a sudden, I mean, even I'm trying to look for whatever at the moment just to get some dollars in, right?
Yeah.
I think we're going to see people under pressure, people stressed, people angry, upset. You know, the rhetoric in the media gets people mental because they think, oh, the government's mugging us off. Oh, they're not, you know.
Yeah.
Like everything just making people mental. But for us, at least we're getting some normality back. You can go up, you know, you can go to the boozer and have a beer without really worrying too much. They're not stressing too much. You just got to be a bit socially distancing and stuff.
Yeah.
And signing in, right?
You know, with this, it's just craziness. You know, let's just hope it does one. So listen, Lee, I'm not going to keep you no longer.
Yes,
brother, it's been a pleasure, man, interviewing you. You know, we got there in the end. We did what we had to do. There weren't no blackout, and I'm in my room. I'm not in the front room. Went a bit ropey at the beginning, but that's cool. Big up to all the people locked on. So out to Fozzie, Paul Wright, to all the movement crew. Let me scroll down.
Who is the Fozzie? I see him on the breakfast show the other day.
Fozzie? Right, I'll give you one thing. Fozzie is one of the guys that he used to come into the Upfront streams on Facebook, and this guy shares. He's a massive sharer. He'll share and share and share. I don't know what's happened to Mark.
I've already bigged up the Fozzie on the show. Big love to the Fozz.
Yeah, so and the thing is, Mark Condon as well. He used to come in all the time and share, but I ain't seen him for a while because obviously we're not on the Facebook thing no more, which is a blessing because we don't get cut. So, Fozzie, mate, out to all the Birmingham crew, you know, big yourself up. Right, Lee, I'm gonna let you go.
All right,
it's been a pleasure, brother.
Big up.
Stay safe, bruv.
All right, mate. I'll see you soon. Yeah.
Take it easy, mate.
Laters.